Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
I want to know what you think about the Super Bowl. Yeah.
It's the teams. Like if you said a couple of months ago that it's going to be Philadelphia and Kansas City, no one has a problem with this. No one has a problem with Philadelphia. Easily the most consistent team in the NFC. They're loaded at almost every position. They're well coached. Their quarterback is still. I mean, Jalen Hurts is still getting better. He's still and look. If anything we've learned about talking about quarterbacks is it's a learning process. And so at 24, he's got a long way to go. We look at Patrick Mahomes as this big, wily veteran. He's 27. You know, that's just how good Patrick was early. At the end of the day, I think because of the defensive side of the ball, I think you're going to see a tight game, but I think I'm thinking that the Eagles probably do win this game. I mean, I like Kansas City. I would have obviously loved to have seen the Bengals, but quite frankly, you know, the teams that have been, and the teams that have been coached the best, Rod, have moved on. I think a lot of times there has been similarities in some of the matchups that we see on these teams, but the better coach has done a better job on that day, and those two teams are in the Super Bowl. They've got a lot of elements. There's a lot of weapons out there, but I think because of that consistency on defense, I think you're going to see a tight Eagles win, but it's going to be a good game. You know, sometimes we just hope and pray we're going to see something magical. In the CFL, sometimes over the years, we got spoiled with these crazy finals. It's what the CFL has for years. We've bragged about as fans that they've done best. But lately, I think the NFL's put on some pretty good entertainment, and this will not fall short.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show. Now,
they talk about the Cowboys every day. You understand there's 31 other NFL teams. How many Major League Baseball teams are there? 30? 32 NHL teams. They only talk about the Cowboys.
how about that?
They're America's team, and by the way, it's all just marketing. Have you watched the documentary on America's Team or the football life? It was just marketing. It was the late 70s. But the football guys didn't like it.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to what we call a Football Friday here on the RP Show. And for those uninitiated, pretty much whatever you want to talk about football related, we wait all week for this, whatever your league is. Spoiler alert, we're going to be talking some hockey right off the hop, or one of the top two topics in our Quick Six. But coming up with a program today, RP Show football analyst Jim Barker, presented by EMJ Marketing, Speakers Bureau, and also Emmanuel Arceneaux, who very conveniently is a veteran of just about every football league as well. I'm here in South Florida, where they're riddled with anxiety and anticipation of the big playoff match involving their Dolphins on the weekend. Moose is in Toronto, where they're always riddled with anxiety. But I'm not sure what's the word in Toronto today, Moose? What's going on?
You want to know the latest thing is Vladdy's going to arbitration. I'm sure that's in your sports updates somewhere.
Yes.
But he's going to arbitration, and now I'm getting DMs being like, how long till he's gone? So they just wait for him to leave, and they're upset that Marcus Stroman's not coming back. They thought he was going to come back. So it's always something.
Isn't it? Yeah, we'll get to that a little later, but I guess why belabor things? Can you hit the Quick Six show horn, please, Director Bryce?
Hell yes.
And we'll fire it up from there. Well, I've been doing this all week. I don't know how long I'll continue it, but what's the big story? I guess I just asked you that. You said it's Vladimir Guerrero overall, but so you handled your business, so I'll handle mine. It is America, after all, where I'm at, and it is Football Friday. So the big story is the New England Patriots. Where's my breaking news bell? This is today. The New England Patriots have agreed to hire Jared Mayo to succeed Bill Belichick as the team's first black head coach, according to a source. Gerard, details were still being worked out on Friday, according to the person who spoke on the condition of anonymity, because the team hasn't announced the decision. Gerard Mayo played 8 NFL seasons and won a Super Bowl ring with the Patriots during the 2014 season. His hire comes a day after Belichick agreed to part ways with the Patriots after a 24-year run that included 6 Super Bowl wins. And I got to say this, it's the speculation and the gobbledygook of what we do Yesterday on ESPN Radio, when I was out for the run listening, they all said, oh, it's going to be Vrabel. Vrabel, hands down, Vrabel's going to be the next coach of the Patriots. No, Gerard Mayo. So, surprise to you? Sounds like a surprise to many.
I think a surprise to people who thought, that it was going to be Vrabel, and they saw, from the Hall of Fame thing earlier in the season and Vrabel's connection. But to those who, are in the know, and from what I've been watching and listening to this morning on coverage across all of North America, it's not a surprise because, Gerard Mayo has been in the organization. His contract was set up for this type of a promotion at some point. And how about the good organizations? When you make decisions, you have a plan for the future. Robert Kraft knew exactly what was going to happen, where he wanted to go, and what the evolution of that team was going to be. Bill Belichick out. And literally the next day, Gerard Mayo gets appointed the head coach, a plan that likely was in place for a long time.
We are going to go fast here in this section of the program. Coming up later on in hour 2, we'll spend more time on all of these topics. We're going to move on to NHL leftovers from Thursday night. It was a very busy night. Here's some quick one-timers. Yegor Sharangovich scored 2 of his 3 goals in the third period, and Calgary dumped Arizona 6-2 at Mullen Arena. Flames goalie Jacob Markstrom made 33 saves to help the Flames win for the 5th time in 7 games. And Clark telling us this morning that Kevin Weeks tweeted the eyeball-looking emoji with a picture of Markstrom. We don't have any idea what that means, but, yeah, Kevin Weeks saying something happening with Jacob Markstrom. We don't have time to get into it. Even the Calgary media is not reporting it. Kevin Weeks is, so maybe we'll get into it later. Here in Sunrise last night, Sam Reinhart scored on a backhander with less than a second to play in overtime. Matthew Tkachuk tied it late in regulation. And the Florida Panthers beat the LA Kings 3-2 for their 9th straight win. In Detroit, Darnell Nurse scored 120 into overtime. And the Oilers beat the Wings for their 9th straight victory. In Montreal, this one was an upset as far as you and I went. We picked Montreal to win, but no, Mackenzie Blackwood made 33 saves, and NHL worst San Jose snapped a 12-game slide with a 3-2 win over Les Canadiens. In Winnipeg, Nikolai Ehlers scored with 1:05 to go, and NHL leading Winnipeg beat Chicago 2-1 for their extending their franchise record winning streak to 8 games. In New York, Matthew Barzal scored 21 seconds into overtime. Ilya Sorokin made 32 saves, and the Islanders rallied to beat Toronto 4-3. In Pittsburgh, Elias Pedersen scored on a breakaway in overtime to lift Vancouver past Pittsburgh 4-3 for their 4th straight win. And in Buffalo, Tage Thompson scored twice in the Sabres' victory over Ottawa. The toilet bowl, the Sens have lost 5 in a row. So when I woke up this morning, you want to talk about the big story? Here in the States, it's Belichick and Gerard Mayo replacing him. In Canada, it's the streaks. That's what I woke up to on my phone. People talking about the Jet streak, the Oilers streak, the Panthers streak, the Kraken streak. Just a fad? Wouldn't you say? And the Kings have lost 7 in a row. There's a streak, too, the other way. Just a cool fad, I think, in the NHL, all the streaks this season.
Yeah, I think so. But, not good for LA Kings fans. Obviously great for Edmonton and Florida. My favorite story of the early part of the NHL season might be Sam Reinhart. 30 goals. Just fun to watch. And it goes all the way back to you and I watching him in the Western Hockey League. Kootenay Ice there in Cranbrook, high draft pick, and away we go. And it was a slow start to his career, but a good player, good person. And now he's having a breakout year. He's probably going to cash in this summer. I don't know if he'll keep it up, but I really love to see the start he's had.
There is talk. Yeah, thanks for that analysis, by the way. There's talk of what Sam Reinhart will get. What is he worth? My guy, Jersey Jim, probably watching today from New Jersey. His mom watches every day on Game Plus TV, by the way, Jersey Jim's mom. So shout out to Jersey Jim's mom. But he was like, what's Sam Reinhart? I asked him, what's he worth? 8.5, 9. Jim came back with it. I'm like, I don't know. You just said it. We've been watching him since junior, following him all through his NHL career. I'm not sure he's all that. I'm not sure that he's that player. Stamkos is at $8.5 million. He's not Stamkos territory. And I'm a Sam Reinhart fan. I was at the game. But that's what they're talking about down here. And for whatever reason, I don't know why I'm bringing this up, but I will now. Oh, yeah, this is it, because we're going to get to our NFL wildcard weekend picks. We have CFL winter meetings talk to come up with as well, because it's Football Friday. But I had breakfast this morning. I bought, so you know it was important, because I'm so cheap, with the founder of a betting company, and you know which one it is. And we had a great chat. And I'm not going to say which company it is. And it was to do with my other show, the Cats and Bolts podcast. Nothing to do with this one, because we're married to Bet Regal. But we talked about picks, and I said it's kind of funny how my predictions, everybody makes fun of the fact they're always wrong. And I said I can't separate my head and my heart. So don't go by my betting advice. And we tell people not to go by my betting. And now they don't. They haven't for a long time. But I said to him, Patrick is his name, it seems to me that the guys that are the best pickers and predictors are the guys that watch the most games. And he just smiled. He goes, that's it. That's it. He's American. He played college football. He's from New York. And that's all I'll say. But he goes, he's a tech guy, startup guy. We had a great chat. Would you agree? Like, if anything, my picks are the best are with the CFL, and I'm better with the NHL, but though I'm watching all the games. My NFL picks suck because I don't watch all the games. I watch one game a day is my rule. Would you agree with that? The most games you watch, the better you are with picks.
100%. I think that's so important. And, when you watch a game, you know how a team plays, how confident you are in them. And even when teams lose, you know that, they were the better team that day. They just lost, right? Because of this and that. And you don't just look, they've lost 3 in a row. Yeah, but it was this play and that fluke and this thing and that turnover. Absolutely. You watch games, you'll be able to pick winners a lot better.
I invite and welcome in all of the audience today. I invite your comments and questions, 902-518-3033 in the Sober Carpenter text line, Sober Carpenter non-alcoholic craft beers. Find them at your favorite beer, wine, and spirit store. And also for the streams, you can write us there too. So having said all of that, on my daytime commentary today that runs on Sask Radio, I said, here are my picks for the weekend, but do not take that to the bank. And the czar of LTD radio, which carries my commentary, Joe, got a real bang out of that. Do not take these to the bank. This is who I'm rooting for. And it segues into this. Our poll question today is for Key Auto Group. It always is. At Key Auto Group, they're driven by safety. Experience peace of mind with our comprehensive multi-point inspections. Visit keyautogroup.ca for automotive excellence. The question is, who's the Super Bowl favorite? And Darren went into Bet Regal and got their odds, their favorites, and they are in no particular order: Buffalo, Baltimore, San Francisco. Those are our options: Buffalo, Baltimore, San Francisco, or other. And last I saw, Clark, on YouTube, Baltimore was leading. What do you have now? 49ers are leading on YouTube. That's the poll. So, hey, people watch this show every day. They know me now. I'm not giving betting advice. I voted other because I guess I got to go with the Dallas Cowboys now. And interestingly enough, Dallas, regular viewer of ours, hockey marketer to the stars, he writes in, anytime I say anything negative about the Cowboys, he calls me a hater because he knows that I'm a lifelong Dallas Cowboys fan. So I guess, are you either going to be a fan or are you going to be a pick prognosticator prediction guy? That's not what I'm going to be. Why do I hear slamming and bamming? Is that me?
I heard that too.
I'm going to go. You heard it too? It's Cowboys for me. So I got to go with that. How about you?
For me, it's the Ravens, I think, and they are favored on Bet Regal. I think it's all because of Lamar Jackson. He gives them a huge edge on the 49ers. But Dallas, I think Dallas was the 4th highest ranked team in terms of odds. So it went Baltimore, San Fran, Buffalo, and then Dallas. So second best odds in the NFC. I think we're looking at a Dallas San Fran collision course for an NFC title game, which would be a heck of a lot of fun.
Yes, So we'll have some fun with that. We're not going to get into the picks right now. We got to save the salacious stuff for later on in the show, and that's our Bet Regal Deal or No Deal for the weekend. Take Darren's picks, not mine. I got to remind people, too, this show's airing live now, I think. Yeah, I'm live. But at 5 p.m. Eastern, it replays. You wouldn't believe how many times I open the phone up, Darren, and there's messages that have come in from people that think the show's live at that time. And if we have time later, we'll have some fun stuff here. Todd Pedersen, that's his name, no relation. He writes in from Saskatoon. And he says, Rod and Darren, please share your opinion on the scariest and toughest sports and best athletes all time, men and women. Happy New Year, and thanks for the Rod Pedersen Show. We're not going to do that now, but we'll probably do it later just for fun. From Todd, who thought the show, he wrote in, he thought the show was live, and it's not. I'm just going to point that out. Now, here's an interesting one. Away from all the serious stuff, point 4, just one day after Pat McAfee announced Aaron Rodgers would no longer appear on his show this NFL season, the ESPN host, McAfee, welcomed him back. On Thursday's episode of the Pat McAfee Show, the host brought the Jets quarterback onto the show to talk about his friendship with Bill Belichick. Upon news the coach was leaving the Patriots, Rodgers noted that he's in the woods, enjoying off-season activities as the regular NFL season ended Sunday night. McAfee said on his show Wednesday that the weekly segment of Aaron Rodgers Tuesday was done for the season, noting, quote, there are going to be a lot of people that are happy with that, myself included, to be honest, unquote. So this is as big of a story. There's more headlines on this than the actual games this weekend, and that's just the world we live in. So don't blame me. We got to talk about what people are talking about. And before I ask your opinion, here's mine. This looks unbelievably Bush League. I've tried to defend Aaron Rodgers at every turn, and at this point I can't. You said stupid things, had yourself removed. You got to go away. And why McAfee caved and brought him back on, I don't know, but it looks really Bush League and Mickey Mouse to me. You?
I think this is a great example of irresponsible reporting and anything for a click and a headline. You know, when he says on the show that the regular segments are over, that was the scheduled thing. It just happened that the timeline lined up, and he was happy, sure, that it was going to be over for the year because of the controversy and everything else. And people took that to think, oh, he's responding to the Jimmy Kimmel allegations and Rodgers and the Heat, and he's canceled the segment and he's done all those things. That's not what happened. And then when Bill Belichick, retires, he goes to his number one guy that comes on the show to give his analysis, because he played his whole career when Bill Belichick was in the league and played against the Patriots at times and things like that. So everybody thinks he's contradicting himself, and that's not the case. That's because we only read tweets and headlines and don't read the whole story. And so it looks like a bit of a contradiction and a walk back. In reality, it's really a whole lot of nothing.
Well, it's not, because it's making headlines and somebody's not telling the truth. So you can believe everything you hear. One day I'll be long gone, dead and gone, and people will finally realize, Rod used to say all the time, don't believe what you hear. And listen, I didn't patent that. I didn't even come up with it. It was Perry Shockey, Perry-ass hockey, who told me a generation ago, believe none of what you hear. None! And only half of what you see. Take that to the bank.
Great
Okay, Moose, I'll see you in hour 2.
You bet.
Jim Barker is in next, our football analyst. It's a Football Friday, and we are live on the Game Plus Television Network, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
We're all capable of doing more. more speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You could throw the perfect rock and still miss, but it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Draws. Curling Canada is committed to providing affordable options so the entire family can enjoy this world-class event. It's the Canadian Men's Curling Championship. Brand Center, Regina. Get your tickets now, curling.ca/tickets. Another great Canadian tradition is Jim Barker. Let's bring him in, our football analyst, presented by our friends at EMJ Marketing. Hey, Jimbo, how you doing? Good to see you. Biggest news of the week is the stepping back of Bill Belichick, Pete Carroll, and Nick Saban. Career coaches yourself, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, it was truly a black week. You talk about Black Monday as the first Monday when the NFL season ends. This was truly a black week. I mean, guys, that Pete Carroll, he broke in right around the same time I did, and he had been at UOP, and to watch him step away when he wanted to keep coaching, and I believe Belichick wanted to keep coaching also, but it's kind of just a changing of the guard, and it happens. And Nick Saban, again, I think the college football landscape has changed so much. It's become such a different job. It's not like old recruiting where you find the top guys and you go sit in their homes, and it's so different now with the NIL and just the way everything is going, the transfer portal. And I honestly believe, and he said he didn't have the energy to be an effective head coach. And you kind of get that feeling when you're in that job, whether or not it's best for you to keep going. Now, I honestly believe Belichick and Pete wanted another year, one more year. But, it's the way it goes. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with Belichick. They've already replaced him with Gerard Mayo, who was a guy they handpicked and actually wrote in his contract that he would be the next head coach. So they didn't have to go through any deals. And again, it's one of those things that'll be interesting to see, like what Pete's doing, where he's going to stick around. That'll be interesting for a new coach. Just like it would be interesting if Bill Belichick stuck around New England and just to see how Jared Mayo was doing. But it was truly a black week because it was a changing of the guard, an official changing of the guard.
Well, I chuckled because I thought of 2011. We in Sask. Ken Miller stepped aside. We brought in Greg Marshall. It was nothing short of an unmitigated disaster. And we started 1-7 and ended up firing Greg and put Kenny on the sideline. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Have you been around a scenario like that?
Well, I stepped aside in 2011. I was the head coach and GM, and I couldn't do both. I mean, I had learned to be a GM different than these guys who are head coach GM now. I actually spent, 5 years just GMing. So I knew at the end of 2011, it was my second year as the head coach and GM in Toronto, that I couldn't do both. I was cheating the team. I was cheating our players. I was cheating the organization. So I stepped aside and then hired the head coach and stayed there. And we won the Grey Cup that year, in 2012. And, we had success through that time. And Scott and I were able to work together. He had been a player for me. He had been a coach for me, kind of like Mayo with Belichick. He's been a player. He's been a coach. Again, it's different. I was the GM when I hired Scott. Bill would not be hiring Jared Mayo. He was hired by the Kraft family. So it was a little different, but that was a little bit the same. A little bit the same kind of deal where the old coach is still there. And, it was hard on assistants because I had to give Scott the freedom to hire the guys. I mean, I suggested Orlando and Mike O'Shea, but he could have very well not brought them back, like he didn't bring back some of the other guys. He kept Steve McAdoo, and then he kept Orlando and O'Shea. So, yeah, it was a little bit different situation, but a little bit similar.
Yeah, well, it's hard on everybody. And to that SAS situation, Kenny Miller, I love him. Greg Marshall, great guy too. Wasn't going to work. It was so awkward, man. And they tried to do the right thing. It just wasn't going to work. Hey, to the NFL wildcard weekend. We got 6 games. In your mind, who will the upsets be, if any?
Well, again, I'm not sure the odds in my little picker pool that I'm in, which, again, I don't gamble, but I do get in these pools. Like, I love the Browns against the Texans. Kevin Stefanski, who, by the way, I don't know if anybody else has noticed this. The guy looks just like Ryan Dinwiddie. When you look at him, he looks exactly like Ryan Dinwiddie. I just noticed it last week when I was watching. So, but I don't know. The Browns, and it's Joe Flacco. In 2012, when we won it, we brought Adriano Belli in September. And the whole tone of the team changed. He changed the locker room. I get the feeling Joe Flacco has done that with the Browns. They're playing better on defense. Their veteran players are playing with excitement and like they're little kids. He's brought something that this team needed. And I like the Browns. And again, I know CJ Stroud is coming into his own, and I just think he needs more. And I like them. The Dolphin-Chief game, boy, is such a tough one because the Dolphins have so much talent, but they got so many injuries and so much speed, but it's going to be in Kansas City. What's the weather going to be like? It's supposed to be pretty bad from what I understand. And what are the Chiefs? I mean, I don't think Mahomes believes in that team. So I'm picking the Chiefs because they're at home, and because I just believe that the Dolphins are just beat up. Again, I thought that game that they had against the Bills, they needed to win. They couldn't get it done. And
yeah.
I think the Bills will beat the Steelers. I think the Cowboys will beat the Packers. The other tough one for me is the Eagles and Tampa Bay. Because Tampa Bay, again, Baker Mayfield is a bit nicked up. Their whole team is. But the Eagles, you talk about problem. There's something wrong there. You don't go into the playoffs with the kind of record and things that they're doing. So, I'm going to take the Eagles just because. But boy, Tampa Bay would not shock me at all. And then the toughest game to pick on the card, I think, is Detroit and the Rams. I think that's wicked. That's a tough one because you say, well, the Lions have never been here before. They got a lot of young players. They've never been in the playoffs. They haven't done it. They haven't, having the home field advantage is great. But this Ram team won it 2 years ago. I mean, they still have Aaron Donald. They still have a lot of those players in their locker room. And Matt Stafford goes back and he's won it. And again, I think the Rams they're a team that's the one you don't want to play. The Rams and the Browns, those are the two teams I think that you don't want to play, that are, kind of have gotten in the back door and now they could become a factor. So I am going to pick the upset there and take the Rams over the Lions. Even though I love the Lions, I just think that I think they need to grow. They need to go one more step. And so everybody needs to take the opposite of what I pick, and they'll probably have a good chance of winning.
That's the funny thing. You don't bet, and to be honest, haven't really either. Everybody laughs that my picks are always wrong, and I'm like, well, I've never had to. It's not what we generally do, There's people that do that are very.
I went the other way. I used to bet a lot, and then I lived in Reno. I coached at the University of Nevada, Reno, and I quickly got over any gambling issue I had, and Now I have a daughter who's a pit boss at the Bellagio in Vegas, and I go there and I don't even have a craving to put a dime into a slot machine, or I don't even have dime slot machines anymore, or none of that. So it completely went out of my system about 35, 40 years ago.
Well, yeah, as far as sports betting, when it first came in the 90s, I started doing it. I was working in the CFL and I was winning because I had inside knowledge, and I was like, this feels wrong. And I stopped. I didn't do it for 30 years. And now we're back doing it because our biggest sponsors.
My brother's a bit of a gambler, and he's learned, don't call Jim if his team, because he never is going to be right. The closer you are to it, you see things differently. You really do. I mean, it's like,
I agree.
You see all these things. We're going to do this and we're going to do that, but then it doesn't happen. And so, he stopped calling me about 20 years ago.
I like it. BW in Edmonton writes in and says, Mr. Barker, what are your thoughts on Chip Kelly's proposal of pulling college football out of all conferences and build regional leagues? Example is North Dakota's independent and plays everyone.
Yeah, again, I like the regional idea, but again, it's proven that like the Pac-12 lost so much money because of time frames, and we see here the CFL I think did a lot better because they didn't play a lot of those 7:30 West Coast time games. They started those games at 4 and 5 at the latest, and they were able to get the East Coast people watching. So the whole regional idea, I'm not big on. This is interesting to have these, to have USC and UCLA in the Big Ten, and some of the rivalries that were in the Rose Bowl when I was a kid. Michigan playing against USC or Ohio State and UCLA in the Rose Bowl. Those kind of things will be exciting. The SEC, bringing the people in, and I don't know. I'm not sure about the whole Chip Kelly idea. It just to me is I think this is kind of the first step toward that, but I don't know. And I haven't studied it, so I don't really have a great knowledge of it.
Yeah. Well, how about this? You work at the rights holder of the CFL TSN, so how much are you following the winter meetings? What is your synopsis or overall, from what you've seen, watching from afar like the rest of us, what's your take out of what you heard?
Well, I don't think there's a lot of rule changes happening. I don't think there's a lot of change. I think there's a lot of interesting things going on in terms of, we've had a couple guys restructure contracts. We have Jeremiah Mazzoli this week coming up with a January 15th payment, but that's a little different because people don't realize if a guy gets hurt, you can't cut him in the offseason. So they can't. They're down for that 100,000. And now, will they cut him to, or they'll try to get him to renegotiate. I don't know that he would renegotiate out of something that they have to pay him. So until training camp starts. When training camp starts, then they can release him. They cannot pass him on the physical, whatever, and all obligations over. But any off-season payments, a player who's been hurt with like an Achilles, a long-term injury, and they changed just around 10 years ago. And I wasn't sure about it. And I knew Jeremiah's payment was coming. And I checked with the league, and yeah, I was right. About 10 years ago, they changed it, and now you're on the hook for those payments. So, I just think it's interesting watching how some of the teams are building. The McLeod Bethel Thompson happened officially, and again, he is saying all the right things, and he is all the things Chris said about him as a leader are true. He's a fantastic leader. Will it help Trey Ford? Will it hinder Trey? Of course, Chris is going to say it's going to help Trey Ford. I still believe he could be traded for if they could get a first-round pick that they gave up for him. I believe that somebody could get him, and I think the perfect fit for him would be the BC Lions. Dane Evans retires. He fits that offense like a glove. He's very much like Vernon Adams. That might be just a perfect fit for him. There's a good chance they could lose Matthew Betts, who is a Canadian starter for them. And this would give them, again, a Canadian who's a backup at quarterback doesn't give you a lot of value, in terms of the ratio until he becomes a starter. But those are the things that are interesting to me. Trevor Harris, he restructures, but very different than Bo Levi's. Bo Levi's restructure was basically a huge drop in how much he's going to be guaranteed. In Trevor's, his was a drop, not so much. It was a little bit of a drop in his guarantee, but he can get it all back in play time. So Bo Levi took an actual hit to how much he's going to make, where Trevor, it was more of a, if I play, I'm going to get paid what I was due. And so he restructured his. So just looking at these restructures to me is really fascinating. As the cap is going to stay basically the same. It goes up a little bit, and as free agency comes in, again, not being there, you don't hear all the behind the scenes rumors. Naylor's there, and he keeps me abreast as much as he can. But so you don't know what's going to happen. I think the next interesting thing is what happens in Ottawa. And when free agency hits, if they give Mazzoli the money, I believe they're going to be a major player in Drew Brown. It's just a gut feeling. I have nothing to back that up. But again, free agency to me in the CFL is fascinating. And I think that you can really see, more so than the NFL, you can see the things teams put value on based on what they're going to pay people or where they think they're weak. For example, Edmonton. Edmonton has spent all this money in free agency on wide receivers and have not addressed their offensive line. Now, are they going to go out and address their offensive line? They've re-signed Boyko, but those are things that I find fascinating. Will a team go out and actually address what they need to address to become a championship level team. Not a team that can win some game, but a championship to win a Grey Cup. And anybody that looks at teams, you make determinations. Saskatchewan, the same thing. They've tried to upgrade their offensive line last year. They just, they had some bad luck with the injury to Blake, and but they need to upgrade that. And how much are they willing to pay to do that? And so that's the stuff I find fascinating this time of year.
Yeah, it is great. It's a wonderful synopsis, too. We'll talk more next week. Thanks for this, Jim. Enjoy the football.
All right, you too. Go Cowboys.
Our football analyst. Yeah, you bet. How about them Cowboys? How about them Sunday afternoon? Our chat brought to you by EMJ Marketing Speakers Bureau. They'll find you the perfect keynote speaker for your event, including Jim Barker. Look up Joe at emjmarketing.com. For more details, we'll be back with a sports update and viewer takeover the rest of the way. In hour one, we are live on Game Plus Television, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the city of Estevan and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new Halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at IKSGameDay.com.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Hey, everybody, in case you didn't notice yesterday or weren't watching, the Telemiracle Online 50/50 raffle is live now. You can buy your tickets at telemiracle5050.com. You only got to be over 18 years of age and physically in Saskatchewan to purchase this ticket. Why Saskatchewan, you ask? Because this show is being produced and beamed out of IKS Media in Saskatchewan. Tickets are on sale until February 23rd at 4 p.m. SAS time. As you should know, the winner gets 50% of the final jackpot. And then all the proceeds go to Telemiracle 48, supporting Saskatchewan's charity. Visit telemiracle.com to learn how the Kinsman Foundation is helping people every day in Saskatchewan to improve their independence and quality of life. Telemiracle5050.com. Please help us out. And buy those tickets today and make your donation. Going to get to a sports update in the moment. I just want to tell you that until the top of the hour, to use a broadcasting term, it's just you and I. So 902-518-3033, the number to reach me right here in the Florida studios, or streaming on YouTube. You can comment there. Pretty much anything you want to talk about. Sports update from this Friday. Juan Soto and the New York Yankees agreed to a $31 million one-year contract that broke Shohei Ohtani's record for an arbitration-eligible player. Toronto slugger Vladimir Guerrero filed for $19.9 million, the high among 23 players who exchanged figures with their teams among 194 eligible for arbitration at the start of the day. Among the 171 others who agreed to deals were Mets first baseman Pete Alonso, Milwaukee righty Corbin Burns, Yankees second baseman Gleyber Torres, Cleveland righty Shane Bieber, Milwaukee shortstop Willie Adams, Houston left-hander Framber Valdez. From the football world, Owasso High School in Oklahoma. Head football coach Antonio Graham announced the addition of former University of Tulsa and professional quarterback Dane Evans to his coaching staff today. The hire marks the first for Graham, who was named head coach of the Owasso Rams last month following Bill Blankenship's retirement from the role. Dane Evans began his pro career with the Philadelphia Eagles in 2017 before signing with the Hamilton Tiger Cats of the CFL, where he spent 5 seasons, spent last year with the BC Lions, and announced his retirement on January 1st. Sports updates brought to you by Common Crown Brewing Company, turning your everyday common beer into a unique and exceptional experience. Visit commoncrown.ca. And for Landmark Cinemas, in theaters today, Mean Girls. From the comedic mind of Tina Fey comes a new twist on the modern classic Mean Girls. Check it out this weekend, specifically tonight at your local Landmark Cinemas. To the Sober Carpenter text line we go. 902-518-3033. Jim Wagner writes in from Balgony, Sask. Glad you asked. Regarding the betting, he says, morning RP Nation, cheering for and betting on are completely different issues. You have pointed that out before, Rod. Heart versus head. Thanks for the great week. It has been a fantastic week. I think our entire team, Clark has really lined up a fantastic bevy of guests, that's for sure. I've enjoyed talking to them. I've enjoyed talking to you people. And that Jim Barker Friday segment is always awesome. I enjoy it. Sometimes I feel like just putting my feet up on the desk and listening to him talk. And talked about this morning in the 12-step meeting that I was in terms of ego and stuff. I literally don't care how I look. With regards to being wrong with my picks and predictions, I don't care. I do not care. And I've never really been able to explain my thoughts on that, but Jim articulated it very well. He's like, his bets are always wrong too, or his picks, because I don't think he makes bets. But what did he say? The closer you are to it, the harder it is to be right, because you have the inside information for one side. You know what I mean? And he goes, it's a different perspective from those that are doing it professionally. So I'm not going to apologize for being wrong on my picks. I want the Cowboys to win. And the thing that scares me is, sorry, Jen from the Four Seasons, and all of you Packers fans that are watching, You read the game notes, and this is, I mean, how many people picked in the CFL East Final this year? The Toronto Argonauts blowing up against Montreal. The famous quote here that got the Alouettes all riled up on this show was, I said, not even a team quarterbacked by God himself could beat the Argonauts this weekend. Look at all the stats. Look at the Dallas Cowboys. We've won 16 in a row at home at AT&T Stadium. Jordan Love this is his first playoff game ever starting. You don't win those. Not even Brett Favre nor Aaron Rodgers won their first playoff game as a starting quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. So all of those reasons make it look like the Cowboys will be high-stepping into the end zone with the win on Sunday, right? And they're favored by 7. Who knows? Stephen from North Dakota writes in and says, greetings and no hallucinations from -1 Fahrenheit. Sunny and windy, Fargo, North Dakota. Football Friday, approved.
Approved.
-1 Fahrenheit's damn cold. We're not the Weather Network, but that's cold. Okay, full viewer takeover when we come back. This has been good. Moose will join us in hour 2, and Emmanuel Arceneaux as well. We'll be right back for viewer takeover right after this on Game Plus Television, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
This is it. It all comes down to this rock. The hours in the gym, the weeks away from my family. This is what I've been training for. And all those voices trying to tear me down, I'm here to silence them. We've given everything we have for a chance to get everything we want.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult, because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Business owners and marketers, Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with The Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hey, everybody, it is audience takeover time, and I'm dedicating this entire time that's left in hour one to that. From Esby, watching in Winnipeg, where we're very big on Bell MTS Cable. Esby says, as a Winnipeg Jets fan, I think winning is the only thing that matters as far as betting on those Jets. So bet on them for Stanley Cup, 12-1 odds. It's unbelievable, man, the whole betting thing. And I know it turns off a lot of people. I don't care. If you're turned off, don't watch. Because and we're not doing it for the commercial, the business aspect of it. Well, in a way we are, but it's interesting because you can talk about the actual games themselves. Like I have said, Jets have won 8 in a row. The Seattle Kraken have won 8 in a row. Edmonton Oilers have won 9 in a row. Florida Panthers have won 9 in a row. This is a discussion I'm having here with Panthers fans. And I haven't had it with any Oilers fans, but there is a thing about peaking too soon. And we'll all forget about it in the years down the line, but stick a fork in this and remember it. The Toronto Argonauts racing out to, what was it, a 12-0 start? We would have all thought they were the Grey Cup favorites, right? In mid-September. Sure we would. Come playoffs, it's a thing. Now is not the time to be playing your best hockey. And that's what the hockey people know. And even some fans, too. Remember that guy? We haven't heard. Oh, it's Kirk in Toronto. I think he is watching today. He was all riddled with anxiety that the Argos were peaking too soon. I'm like, dude, chill. And while he was right, in the end, he was right. What difference does it make for him? You get up and go to work the next day. You're cool. And nobody lost their job over it, so why keep score? John in Edmonton writes in and he says, sad day in Edmonton. Edmonton sports media personalities John Short and Robin Brownlee have both passed away. Yeah, not cool with that one, man. I knew Robin pretty well. I respected the heck out of his work. I loved reading his stuff. He was on this show and did a great job. I don't know, never met John Short, never even heard his radio show. I think I was on his show a couple times talking about the Rough Riders, but just my Edmonton friends, listening to them talk about John Short, it was like the most irreverent god of sportscasting in Edmonton. So I feel for you. That's the heart of Edmonton sports media, a major hole in Edmonton sports. How about that? With the passing of those two guys. So condolences to their families and their fans. And thank you, John, at Edmonton, for pointing that out. From Jen at the Four Seasons, she says, Mike McCarthy will help the Cowboys lose. She says, I have much love and faith in my Packers to upset. Yeah, but you can't separate your heart or your head either, Jen. I know you. You're like me. We're going to be talking about all of this next hour, so stick around after this brief pause here on Game Plus and Key Radio.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the city of Estevan and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at iksgameday.com.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
No. They talk about the Cowboys every day. You understand there's 31 other NFL teams. How many Major League Baseball teams are there? 30? 32 NHL teams. They only talk about the Cowboys.
How about that?
They're America's team, and by the way, it's all just marketing. Have you watched the documentary on America's Team or the football life? It was just marketing. It was the late 70s. But the football guys didn't like it.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Oh, you're going to love this. Trust me. I swear you're going to love this. Or maybe you won't, but I know I will. It's hour 2 of our last hour of the week of a Football Friday. And let's bring in Darren Moose DuPont. I got so much to get to here, Moose. I don't have the crown and rowboat yet. At some point I will. We got to save it.
Yeah.
I think I have a roadmap for what we're going to do here. We have yet to talk about what went down at the CFL winter meetings in Nashville, although we covered it very well with Jim Barker in hour 1. You and I haven't talked about it, but it's NFL wildcard weekend. It's the best weekend of the year in the National Football League. So we're going to talk about the spreads and why the spreads are what they are. Why people think what they are. It's funny because I mentioned the Packers and how they're going to lose to the Cowboys on Sunday. And those Packer fans that are watching they were waiting in the weeds to pop out. I called them out by name. Troy in Toronto writes in, he says, I'm with you, Jen, about Mike McCarthy. Going to cost us the win. And by the way, he's our coach. He says, go Pack, go. I have blind faith too. And Jen says, as long as our defense shows up, it could happen. Anything could happen. And here's the thing. I don't know if you watched the Jim Barker interview or not, but he said the closer you are to the situation, the harder it is to make picks. And we've talked about that, right? You said you struggled to pick Leaf games. I think you picked them to win last night, and they lost on Long Island. Yeah. Best thing's to not cheer for anybody, I think.
It's It's tough, because you want to cheer for your team. You're kind of blinded by it. And if you don't pick your team, then what do you do, right? You kind of feel like you're betraying them a little bit. So you're right. It is tough. And Jim's right on that. It's close. It's tough when you're really close to it. That's for sure.
By the way, it is Football Friday, but I will allow fans of the Winnipeg Jets, Edmonton Oilers, Seattle Kraken, and Florida Panthers to write in and do a victory lap, but then you got to leave. But their teams all won last night to extend very long streaks. And how about this? I didn't show you. Did I show you what I got? Big hammer, big mallet here. How about the John Ohm gong? I've had this around. But the little hammer I was using rolled underneath Fernanda's bar. That's our landlord, Fernanda. Yeah, and did you ever notice that bar when you were here? On the line A here? Did you notice? Yeah, so I covered it with the bedspread, the tablecloth, the RP Show tablecloth, and the little hammer rolled underneath it. And the thing's like 1,000 pounds. So I'm like, I can't even move this thing to get the little hammer out, so I'll use the big hammer. Kevin, the medium, writes in and says, Kevin says, what about my Canucks? Apparently, you have a listening comprehension problem.
Bingo!
It's Football Friday. I'm not getting into that. And by the way, it's a paltry, I think, 5 games for the Vancouver Canucks. And we don't listen to deranged, irrational fans. Like an idiot, I went and ate a granola bar in the break. Don't! What did I tell you? I got to stop doing that. And then I went and did it. So let's go. Let's get serious. For as serious as we get. The picks, we're not going to get to the picks yet. I'm going to tell you the point spreads. And again, that's the thing with Jim Barker. If I may, you know this, and the viewers that were with us an hour ago will recall I said I had breakfast this morning with the founder of a betting company, an online sports betting. They're big. And he's played college football. He's a tech startup guy. He doesn't look like a nerd, but he'll freely admit that he's a nerd. Big, buff football guy. And I said, I find that the guys that are the best with the picks are the guys that watch the most games. And he was like, yep, bingo. And I just wanted to point out that I'm not going to sit and watch all the games. This weekend I might, because it's the playoffs. But Thursday night football, Sunday, 3 games in a row. Monday night football. I'm not going to look it up. It's 31 degrees Celsius today with humidity here. Plus 31 degrees Celsius plus today with humidity. I'm not going to sit inside watching TV. Okay? So Jim Barker brought up a really good point on the wild card games, beginning with Cleveland at Houston. I want to ask why you think the spreads are what they are. Cleveland is favored by 2 at Houston, on the road, the Browns. Why do you think that is?
Cleveland's got a great defense. Myles Garrett's a disruptor and a defensive MVP candidate. They've found some resurgence in their offense, despite being one of the worst, if not the worst team this year in turnovers. They still are averaging more points per game than the Kansas City Chiefs. And so I think those things play in. There's more experience on that roster. There's less experience on Houston's. Rookie quarterback playing in the playoffs adds a whole bunch of pressure. So I think that all plays into the spread being what it is.
Cool. Next segment, we'll do the actual picks. Here we're just talking about the spreads. You know, who am I to talk about picks? But I mean, you're rattling off all the numbers and the figures. When we're all going to read the game notes, and I'm sure the odds makers are too. But as I pointed out before the break, how about them Argos? Set a CFL record for fastest to clinch a division and plus 27 in turnover ratio. And God's their quarterback. We gave him a big raise. Playoffs come. How do you account for that? That's what's great about it. Right?
It is.
And then, so Miami at Kansas City. I wanted to get into this with Jim, but we ran out of time. Jim Barker, last hour, our football analyst. I'm reading this story about Kansas City favored by 4.5 at home over the Dolphins on Saturday in that AFC wildcard game. And it's the Dolphins' injuries. And they're already talking about the weather. All you're hearing, and we've been talking about it all week because that's all they've been talking about. Coldest game, not only in Dolphins history. Somebody sent me a link this morning that this might be the coldest game in NFL history. It's going to be darn close. Minus 20 Celsius, below 0 Fahrenheit. In this case, I just can't see the Chiefs losing. But you at the start of the week thought the Dolphins would win. Next segment, you're going to have to decide whether you're staying with that or not. Weather here, Darren, the weather is a bigger factor than stats in my mind. You?
Yeah, it's become that for me too. I saw a number that Tua, in games that are below 45 degrees Fahrenheit, is 0-4 with 4 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. That's 45 degrees Fahrenheit. It's going to be 70 degrees colder than that. They're saying with the wind chill, it's going to be more like minus 30 Fahrenheit, which is pushing the minus 30s Celsius. The dial gets pretty even in the minus 30s to 40s. I think it connects at minus 40.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough for the Dolphins, man. It's going to be real tough.
And I'm enjoying just the hype. Mindful not to listen to any of it. You can hear it, don't listen to it. There is a difference. We don't have time to go through that today. But they were saying about how cold it's going to be. And, John in Kansas City is watching right now. How many people are you going to think are going to be at the ballpark, John? Because here in Miami, people are going, oh, there'll be nobody at the game. It's too cold. And the Missouri people are like, no, the place will be jammed, bro. Just watch. F you, just watch. Hashtag Cody Fajardo. So I guess we'll find out. And our picks are coming up next segment for both of us from Bet Regal. Pittsburgh at Buffalo. and the spreads don't matter here either. They never really do. It just is an indication of who's favored. And the Bills are favored by 10. Why do you think that is?
Games in Buffalo, right? So that's a big factor, even though Pittsburgh isn't that far away from Buffalo, and Pittsburgh gets cold, windy weather at Heinz Field. The weather is going to be a factor in Buffalo too. Snow rolling in, all the rest. So that's going to play a factor. And Buffalo is the number 3 team on Bet Regal's odds of Super Bowl favorites. They've been rolling since late. They have experience in the playoffs. This is the team we thought they might be at the beginning of the year. But Sean McDermott came out and said, look it, we respect this team. They got a great defense. TJ Watt's not going to play for Pittsburgh. He's already been ruled out, so that's a big one. But they've got other, potential Hall of Famers on that defense. Mason Rudolph is undefeated now since being named the quarterback, even though it's a small sample size. But man, everybody thinks Buffalo now is just going to roll their way to the AFC title game and potentially the Super Bowl.
It's funny you mentioned the win streak. You're right. It has coincided with Mason Rudolph starting, yet with what I read this morning, that's part of the reason the Bills are favored by 10, that Mason Rudolph is starting. Let's remember, it's not Ben Roethlisberger. It's 1:11 Eastern. Thank you, BW in Edmonton, for pointing that out.
Beautiful. How about that?
Visualize a positive outcome, everybody. Take my word for it. It works. So, hey, I don't know. I've never been to Kansas City, Missouri, despite several invitations. At some point, we'll get there. But there's a long list of places ahead of it. John Schmeiser in Kansas City says there are at least 15,000 available tickets on resale. That's my point. I don't know the people at Kansas City. How hardy are they? Because you see this in the CFL, except for Winnipeg. These kinds of conditions, people aren't going to the games in Canada either. Winnipeg, they do. Nowhere else. So, more than anything, I'm interested to see how many people will show up to Arrowhead. Over to the NFC, mindful of the fact we have not picked winners yet. That's coming up. Green Bay at Dallas. Cowboys have won 16 in a row at home. And the game is at Dallas's home. So why even play the game? Green Bay, save yourself the fuel. Stay home. What do you think?
Yeah.
Why do you think the Cowboys are favored by so much? I already said it, but I want to hear you say it.
What are they favored by? I don't think you mentioned the line.
7.
By 7. It's because of those reasons. How well they play at home. It's not in Green Bay. So you're not going to have the Lambeau faithful. You're not going to have the weather in Lambeau and all these other factors. So you can make them uncomfortable. And it's conducive to that Dallas offense, getting it going through the air. When CeeDee Lamb's had one of, if not the best season in Cowboys history as a receiver. Dak's doing his thing. So I think it's going to make them really comfortable. And if Dak and CeeDee and the rest of that offense is rolling, the Cowboys should win by double digits if all goes to the script. I think that's why they're favored by so much.
Los Angeles at Detroit. That's the one game that Jim Barker said he's staying away from. It's got to be one. Lions favored by 3 at home. He said the toughest one to pick here is Lions and Rams. Why do you think the Lions are favored by 3?
They're a tough team. They play tough. We've heard it in the Canadian Football League called bully ball. They can play that. They're good on both lines. It's at home. When the weather gets cold, you tend to play tough football. They play that brand of football, whereas the Rams can play that way, but they typically don't. Their offense has been rolling. Matt Stafford's been better. It's going to be the best game of the weekend, I think. It's the one I'm most looking forward to. But, yeah, I think the reason's because you're at home, tough football. It's going to be a very close game.
Philadelphia, Tampa Bay, Eagles favored by 3. Why do you think that is?
We're all waiting for the Eagles to become the Eagles that we thought they were all year. And so everybody's sitting there being, well, it has to happen at some point. They have to snap out of it. Problem is their defense has been really soft. But Tampa, despite winning the division and picking up wins in their last 6 games and playing as well as they have over the last 6, they haven't been dominating anybody or really instilling a ton of confidence that they can go out and push around the Eagles. I think that's why the line's so close. But this is another game that we kind of stay away from because we don't know which way it's going to go.
Those are all the betting lines, and next segment we'll talk about what our picks are. A guy has written in here from Winnipeg on the 902 line. I thought I blocked him years ago, but he's found our television show. Paul Skiberis is his name if anybody wants to know. You'll love this, Darren. He writes in all caps on the Sober Carpenter text line, "Not cool. You don't care about sports betting, yet you work in addictions recovery? Selling out for advertising to live in Florida, I guess." There's a guy with some problems and hasn't listened to anything I've said. We're also sponsored by a beer company, Common Crown in Calgary, and I'm a recovering alcoholic, bro. Do we need to have a remedial session in addiction recovery and broadcasting? Alcohol's not the problem, addiction is. Guns aren't the problem, people are. Betting's not the problem, addiction is. So I'll just point that out, Paul, but you're not listening. That's why I blocked you years ago. So please go away and don't come back. I'm sorry that you're so upset with life, but don't try and pull down mine.
You know what happened,
David, right? David in Winnipeg. What? Tell me. He lost.
We switched phone numbers on that text line after about a year and a half. He found the new one.
Found it. I like this term, Johnny in Winnipeg. Johnny in Winnipeg writes in and says, is the Dolphins versus my Chiefs game the coldest ever? The weather is rude. I like that term, rude. It is rude. It's for sure the coldest game in Dolphins history. What they're saying now is that it could be the coldest game in NFL history. And there's been some cold ones. We remember those games. I think they're waiting till Sunday to see what the actual temperature is at kickoff. It's a little like Calgary and Miami are similar in a couple of areas. One is if you don't like the weather, wait 15 minutes, it'll change. I don't think it's going to change that much in Kansas City over the weekend. Oh, and by the way, David in Winnipeg. All of Winnipeg's watching today, and I understand why. It's too cold to go outside. He says, hey, RP, no patio parties or sun tanning going on here. We're saying it's plus 31 Celsius. He's like, keep your clothes on. Don't worry, we will. And he wants to talk about CFL, Trey Ford, Chris Streveler. We'll get into that next. We'll be right back, and we are live on the Game Plus television network on a Football Friday. Also, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
How about that?
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You could throw the perfect rock and still miss. But it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Hey, everybody. Canada's top men's curling teams are thick into the season, and their eyes are firmly focused on the 2024 Montana's Brier, presented by AGI in March in Regina. Single draw tickets are on sale now, and they range in price from $24 to $70, depending on the draw and seat selection. Youth tickets are just $9.99 for all draws. Curling Canada is committed to providing affordable options so the entire family can enjoy the world-class event. Go to curling.ca/tickets to get yours. Yeah, I'm wearing a crown and a robe. And you're going to find out why in a second. Let's bring the Moose back in. It's funny. I don't know about you, Darren. I don't know about you at all. But a long-lost, far-flung cousin of mine has just written in, and this is like blowing his mind. It's going to blow Jeff the Stamps fan's mind, too. Jeff Goda, my cousin from Calgary. His dad is Jack Goda, the Hall of Fame former head coach of the Calgary Stampeders and Saskatchewan Roughriders. That's right, my uncle was the coach of the Stampeders and the Roughriders. Jeff's dad. He was written in on the text line. Sober Carpenter text line. He's like, I just discovered your show and I'm liking it. Well, thanks, Jeff. Where you been the last 20 years? Last I heard, Darren, he was a helicopter pilot, so he's no dummy. But of course, cousin of mine. So yeah, I'm not sure if Jeff the Stamps fan knew that my uncle was the former coach of the Stampeders. But we still talk to him after. And when I went to Mount Royal College in Calgary, we used to go to games together, and it was one of my fondest memories of that time. We'll get to the CFL winter meetings in a second. Trust me, I promise. It is a Football Friday, don't you know? But it's time to play Deal or No Deal NFL. It's time to play Deal or No Deal NFL for our exclusive betting partner, Bet Regal. We've already run through the betting lines, but we'll do it again. Darren's going to pick his, whether he takes the bets or not, with Bet Regal's point spreads. And we start with those AFC games on Saturday, Cleveland at Houston. The Browns favored by 2.0 on the road. Deal or No Deal, Moose?
Deal for me. I'll take the Browns on the road.
They've talked me into it as well. I'm taking it. The Miami Dolphins at Kansas City in the coldest game in Dolphins history. 4.5-point favorites are the Chiefs at home. And Taylor Swift, I'm pretty sure, will be there. Deal or No Deal?
I'll take the deal. I think the Chiefs offense will roll. Yeah.
You changed your mind from earlier in the week.
I've come around.
Yes. Pittsburgh at Buffalo. The Bills are favored by 10. Deal or No Deal?
This is a tough one for me. I'm going to say no deal. I think it'll be low scoring, weather a factor, and Pittsburgh will keep it close.
I agree. I'm with you. Now over to the conference that matters, the National Football Conference. Green Bay at Dallas on Sunday. The Cowboys are favored by 7. Deal or No Deal?
I like the Cowboys to roll in this one and flex. They need it. I'll take the deal.
Couldn't agree more. The Los Angeles Rams, 2 years removed from being Super Bowl champions, visit the Detroit Lions, playing their first playoff game at Ford Field ever. Lions favored by 3. Deal or No Deal?
This is, again, tough one. I'm going with the Lions in this one to win at home and exercise all those demons.
We agree on every one. And then the Philadelphia Eagles fly at Tampa Bay. Monday Night Football. The Eagles are favored by 3. Deal or No Deal?
I heard today that Hurts wasn't throwing. A.J. Brown wasn't practicing. They're both banged up. Give me the Bucs. No deal.
By less than 3. Oh, you're taking the Bucs. Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha. I'm taking the Bucs straight up. That's it. Sign up this weekend at betregal.ca. Join for free and start playing Bet Regal. Play Deal or No Deal with us. While we're here, and let me take off this ridiculous getup. While we're here, we might as well play NFL breakaway or NHL breakaway bets. That's we're going to be doing it all winter. To be honest, I can't believe how much people have gravitated to this. I can't. But what did you say? The most organic of all promotions. You and I make our NHL picks daily, and the viewers are keeping track of it. They're making their own picks. There are only 2 games tonight. I sucked last night. Would you say I was 6-4 out of the 10 games?
I said 6, 4, and 2. So you're 6-6 overall total.
Ew.
And I was 8, 3, and 2. So 8 and 5 overall.
Right, because loser
when I went back
there.
and watched it, Rod, you never gave a pick for Calgary, the Calgary-Arizona game.
I couldn't have, because I have no idea what Calgary's going to do on a daily basis, nor do they. That's the odd, fun
Good
part
call.
of this. Nashville at Dallas tonight in the National Hockey League. Who are you taking to win? I'll take Nashville, man. They've crept into a playoff spot. So Darren for Dallas, R for Nashville, and Philadelphia at Minnesota. Flyers at Wild. Oh, what a week for the Flyers. Who are you picking to win that one?
Give me Philly.
Okay, Wild coming off of being swept by the Stars this week. They're back home. I'm sure the Flower will start. I'll take the Wild. So there you go, our Bet Regal breakaway bets for our official betting partner, Bet Regal. Okay, for the Canadian Football League fans, this is where the CFL comes to talk, and make no mistake, nobody talks more CFL than us. And it's Football Friday, so we're here to do it. I don't even know where to start. I got a lot of, here's my thing. CFL winter meetings, potential rule changes. Keith Pelly is the new MLSE president, formerly president of TSN. Trey Ford in Edmonton. Everybody says he's should have hurt feelings because they signed veteran McLeod Bethel Thompson to come in and challenge him for the job or take it away. Chris Strebler, who's been in the NFL the last couple of years, the hero of the 2019 Winnipeg Blue Bombers Grey Cup playoff run, says he's thinking about coming back to the CFL, so says the Winnipeg Free Press. And new Hamilton Tiger Cats general manager Ed Hervey said at CFL winter meetings in Nashville this week that he sees Bo Levi Mitchell, his quarterback, having a, quote, Anthony Calvillo-like renaissance season, unquote. I put it to Jim Barker this way. I said, what grabs you? I'll ask you, what grabs you out of the coverage of winter meetings for the CFL this week?
Well, the big thing I've seen is the rule changes, or not the rule changes, that's going to happen later, probably in March, but the rule discussions around kickoffs and eliminating kickoffs potentially, or the option of going to an XFL-style kickoff where the kicking team and the return team are at a standstill until the ball is returned. That's what's caught me the most and where it will go from here. The second thing today, obviously, the Strebler news has been, eye-popping, especially with, the free agent questions around Drew Brown and where will he sign, and, where will be a fit for Strebler and what kind of money will be available in Winnipeg. It doesn't sound like there's a ton of money in Winnipeg to go around to all the free agents that they have, let alone to give Chris Strebler starting quarterback type money.
Hey, you CFL fans that wanted this, perk up and start writing in 902-518-3033. Where do I start? I did a little tsn.ca dive because they're like actually, you know what I did? I did a Google dive. I typed in CFL rule changes, search, and the first thing that came up was TSN, and it was the only thing that came up. So from what I understand, Naylor is there in Nashville, so he's driving the discussion on the potential rule changes. I understand how the game works. They're just trying to generate discussion on this. And did you specifically say what they're proposing? They're saying instead of having kickoffs after touchdowns, you have a score touchdown, and then the opposing team, the offense, starts at their 40. It's about the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I'm wondering how much analytical study has gone into this. Are they saying the average drive start is the minus 40, your own 40 for any given drive? That can't be right. Why would you start so far up the field at the 40-yard line? Well, why would they come up with that?
Well, and that was the question. It's not about the game and what's going to draw more excitement. It's about player safety and the high collisions that happen on kick returns. And special teams. So they're saying, if we start at the 40, what's going to end up happening is 90 to 95% of the time, teams are going to choose to take the ball at the 40. Because how often do you get a kick return that comes out to the 40 or midfield? Not that often, unless you have a really explosive returner and you can get a touchdown. I don't like it. I think it would be more advantageous to say, look, you get the ball at your own 30, and then you'd have more decisions. But it does limit the contact. The other side is the XFL rule, where everybody's lined up closer to the return man. When the ball is caught, then everybody goes. Less big connections, more kick returns. I think that's probably maybe a better solution.
One of the most exciting plays in the CFL, kick returns, they're looking at reducing them. Got it. What do they keep saying in the NFL? Every NFL game. If you're surfing Twitter while the game's on, they're saying, oh, how boring is this? All the lead up to the game, and then the kickoff, out the end zone, touchback.
Every time.
They just
and the numbers will come out.
Discussion and
they just said that, you know, the once the injury stats for kickoffs and that come out, they need that to make a decision. You can't make this decision without some sort of evidence that say that, you know, injuries are on a spike because of special teams. If there's no data to back it up, you can't make that move.
No. I'm smiling because I've got some great messages have come in here. David in Winnipeg writing in, and he says, way to go, RP. I am the brother of someone who passed away due to addictions. Take away one temptation, they'll find another. You are not a hypocrite. You're just a realist. Addiction, unfortunately, will exist as long as mankind. I am fortunate enough to be able to enjoy an adult beverage without relying on it for my happiness or existence. Thanks for giving back to the addictions community. Thank you, David, for the nice words. From my cousin Jeff Goda in Calgary. We're having a back and forth while on the air. Just discovered the show. Haven't heard from him in at least 20 years. He writes in and says, no worries, enjoying your show. We'll talk later. I'm terrible with this text stuff. Text messages, Jeff? And he says, I'll get Anthony hooked up to yak with you. Okay, he's going by Anthony now. It was always Tony when we were kids. Tony Goda. Now it's Anthony. He says, he's funnier than ever. He'd love your show. He's still in Los Angeles. We're just having a family chat. I love how this show brings people together. Moose, I think you're done. We got through our picks. We did it. Thanks for a great week and all you
Wonderful.
do. Have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend. Yeah, you bet.
Manny Arceneaux joins us next, NFL, CFL, Arena League veteran. When we come back, it is a Football Friday, and we are live on Game Plus Television, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
This is it. It all comes down to this rock. The hours in the gym, the weeks away from my family. This is what I've been training for. And all those voices trying to tear me down, I'm here to silence them. We've given everything we have for a chance to get everything we want.
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Talking sports, specifically football on a Football Friday. And by the way, everybody, the Telemiracle 50-50 is another way to support Telemiracle and also have the chance to win half the jackpot. It's live now. It's truly a win-win for Saskatchewan residents. You beautiful people of the 306. You can get your tickets now at telemiracle5050.com. And by the way, our rock star of the day on Thursday's show was Brad Johnner, Telemiracle cast member for the last 25 plus years. Again, telemiracle5050.com. Don't wait. Get your tickets now. I have a feeling the rock star of the day today will be our next guest, Manny Arceneaux. For those that don't know, but you should, veteran of the Minnesota Vikings, Washington Redskins, New York Jets, Frisco Fighters of the Indoor League, and of the CFL BC, Saskatchewan, and Edmonton. And Manny, welcome. What are you doing? What's going on, man? Happy New Year.
Man, I'm fine. Just was up here in Jasper for the Elevate Actions program where they had a 3A partnership of the Steelworkers, USW, White Ribbon, and the CFL speaking on gender-based violence. So I'm actually up in Alberta at the moment. Just finished up that course up here in Jasper.
Watch out for the elk, Manny. That's all I'm going to say. I almost got killed by one in Jasper. Maybe you know that. Did they warn you that when you got to town? Watch out for the elk?
Man, they really didn't, but you can see like the crossing signs and all those type of things when you're on the highway. So, yeah, I kind of noticed that.
Listen, we'll talk ball. You can do that better than anybody. But this gender-based violence presentation you're talking about, tell me about that. Tell me what your role is in that program.
Yeah, so they're trying to put on together an initiative where you will have a CFL player partner up with someone with the steelworkers industry, and you'll go into the workplace speaking on a topic of gender-based and how it's something that goes on not just in the workplace but in society in general. But it's basically to raise awareness on it and having that male presence and voice to speak up on something that everyone just figure, you know, it's about women, but that's not true, as it affects all of us and makes an impact in general. So that's kind of what it is, man, getting us the curriculum to be able to go out and facilitate these presentations throughout Canada and possibly at some point North America.
Good for you, man. Good for you for doing that and being part of that. You do a lot of that stuff in the community, which is so important for a variety of reasons. I saw your message the other day about playing football in 2024. You have a Hall of Fame career. You know that, but you don't want it to end yet. What do you think? What's the outlook for 2024?
Man, you know, I'm optimistic. I really can't say. And, you know, football's been good to me. But it's just that kind of sour taste that's in my mouth, man, of the accolades, the numbers, and kind of all that really don't mean much coming off the like a 4-14 season. And it's like those 2 years was like a struggle for me, man. You know, the injuries and not having the year you thought it would expect to be. And it's just so hard to win. And it's like, man, when I came into the league, I'm not accustomed to that. In my lifestyle, how I operate, I'm not accustomed to that because I feel as if I'm a winner. And it's just, something just don't sit well knowing like, man, 4-14, that's some loser type stuff. Like, I just don't want to accept that. And I guess for the closure aspect is just going out the right way. And that's kind of how I look at it, man. It's like, that's not what winners do. You know, they want to be part of the solution. They want to be part of something that gets better. And I feel that I can still contribute and help with that.
I know you can. We all know that. And I think we talked about this the last time you were on. Being part of that long losing streak, you weren't there for the start of it, but you were there for the end of it. And kind of some unfinished business. I talked to Jones a couple weeks ago, and I know you're a Jones guy, and he said, he was like, the last 2 years here have been interesting. I feel like they feel they're primed for a breakout. What do you think?
Man, it has to be, man. It has to be. And sometimes it's like, it's not all about having the best guys. It's the right kind of guys. And I learned that in college. You just need the right kind of guys in a group that's going to mesh well, a group that has chemistry, and a group that's all in it for the same cause, man. And that's what it is a lot of the times is football is so mental that the culture and the stuff that doesn't require catching, passing, running are the things that get you over the hump and to become a winning organization. So it's just about, man, just those right little pieces of the puzzle. But you can see where they have the route they've taken now in free agency by getting McLeod. That's a start, you know, having somebody in that position with some stability that won before, know how to win, and being able to mentor a dynamic guy like you have Trey coming in. So I think that can be a great 1-2 punch and packages you can put in for a team to have to prepare for both guys. But yeah, it's just one of those, like you say, it's very interesting. But it goes to show you how hard it is to win in a CFL game.
Any pro league. And to be honest, are you willing to wait until into the season? Because look at what Sean Lemon did. Look at what Darnell Sankey did and these guys. Are you willing to be that guy in 2024?
Man, listen. Me, I'm the guy that's trying to come in and play right now. I have 2 kids. I have a nonprofit. I have a business and things that I'm running. And for me, football is a resource. So, you know, it's my occupation. It's what I do. It's not who I am. And if I was 21 years old, you know what? You can put your life on hold and chase that professional dream where I just wake up every day and train and do that and play Madden. But my circumstance and situation is different. For me, it's either I'm going to play now or am I done? You know what? 14 years of it. But, yeah, I'm not the guy to sit around and just be hoping, praying, and wishing some opportunity come. But I know, like, I'm going to give it its off season. February's nearby, and that's how it worked for me. But I'm past that point of waking up, working out 4 or 5 times a week, playing video games, saying I'm waiting on a phone call.
Hey, I get it. I get it. I'm just wondering if you've thought of, like, Belichick and Pete Carroll wanted to coach this year, Manny. They wanted to be back on the sideline.
Nah. Right. See,
what do they say? Father Time's undefeated.
Right, but to see, that's my 25, 26, and going on forward plans. You know I can play, and I'm not to that point of just like, man, let me get one more just for it, because then I'm cheating the game. But I know that next step for me would be in 25. Like I said, I only want to play this final year. I'm not trying to play this year and say, give me one more, then give me one more. This final chapter is in 2024. There is no football in the plans for me unless I'm coaching or running my business or things of that sort in 25. So for me, 24 is just for football. So I'm not that guy of saying, well, you said one more, then you did one more. Nah, mentally, where I'm at physically, emotionally, and all that, it's just for 1 year. And that's the 2024 season. So yeah, that's all. So I'm not trying to get a foot in the door, play one more, and say, you know what, I think I can play again. Like, nah, I'm going to get one more year. And in 25, it's time to carry on with what's next. If I don't play in 24, well, that new chapter starts in 24.
Man, I like the sound of what you got going. We're following the situation very closely. Let me just ask this. NFL wildcard weekend, as a veteran of the league, You got some insight most don't. What do you think will be the best game of the 6 this weekend?
Man, really all of them, because I think every game will be a good game. Because, like you say, man, guys out there playing for jobs, careers, and just making a statement, And it's teams that's trying to get back, like a Kansas City. Can they do it again? Dallas need to get the monkey off their back. Can we get there? And you got the Bills and these teams. Everybody feel as if they deserve to be that Super Bowl contender or the team to make it. And it's like, what's really going to happen and what it's going to boil down to? You got Pittsburgh or you got the doggone Ravens and all these teams. So it's like, you know what? It's interesting in the NFL that the final weeks are the most important weeks, whether that's seeding or just the fact of, hey, man, we trying to make history and do something. Look, you got Detroit Lions in the conversation this year. So it's like, it's just so much going on when it comes to the NFL football that makes the game so exciting.
I'm with you. All the games are great. Manny, stay warm. You probably heard it a million times up there. Thanks for this. And if we can be of any assistance, you let me know.
Oh, nah. Thanks a lot. Appreciate you.
For CFL Great and future Hall of Famer, Manny Arceneaux, joining us from beautiful Jasper, Alberta. We'll be right back with Overtime after this. You are watching on Game Plus TV, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the city of Estevan and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at IKSGameDay.com.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
We're very proud to be back for Overtime. It's the final segment of the week on this Football Friday, but for the hockey fans, you got to check out Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary. If you haven't yet, what are you waiting for? Head on down there. Tell them Rod sent you. Say hey to Randy and Michelle. It is like, a driving range for golf, batting cages for baseball, shooting lanes. Hockey is #1 in Calgary and Alberta. Get down there and check them out. Overtime Hockey Lanes, 28th Street Northeast, just a slab shot away from the old Crossroads Flea Market there. Before we turn it over to the streets and the audience, sports update from this Friday. The New England Patriots have agreed to hire Gerard Mayo to succeed Bill Belichick as head coach. Details were still being worked out as of Friday morning. Mayo played 8 NFL seasons and won a Super Bowl ring with the Patriots during the 2014 season. That is the one problem that we learned. Was it Darren that said it? Somebody said it here earlier, that it was in Mayo's contract that he would replace Bill Belichick. Man, things have changed in sports, because it used to be, we would say there are no guarantees. You still hear that, but apparently now there are. Gerard Mayo had that put in his contract that he would succeed Bill Belichick as head coach. And I mean, yesterday morning, I'm sitting there listening to ESPN radio while out for a run, well, an indoor run at Johnny O's Gymnasium. But the two hosts who weren't insiders, it was Michelle Smallman and Evan Cohen, when talking about who the next coach of the Patriots would be, they said, oh, it's Mike Vrabel. And the guy professed to be a Patriots fan and didn't know this. And then we find out that apparently everybody knew. I didn't. Gerard Mayo, the next head coach of the Patriots. That didn't take long. Also today, Christian McCaffrey, Tyreek Hill, and Fred Warner are unanimous choices for the Associated Press 2023 NFL All-Pro team. The 49ers, McCaffrey, and Warner, and the Dolphins, Hill, received first-team votes from all 50 members of a nationwide panel of media members who regularly cover the National Football League. Running back McCaffrey and linebacker Warner are joined by 3 San Francisco teammates, left tackle Trent Williams, fullback Kyle Juszczyk, and tight end George Kittle. Baltimore quarterback Lamar Jackson earned his second All-Pro selection, receiving 45 first-place votes. Dallas's Dak Prescott and San Francisco's Brock Purdy each received 2 first-place votes, and Buffalo's Josh Allen got the other. The sports update is brought to you by Landmark Cinemas. In theaters today, The Beekeeper, starring Jason Statham, Josh Hutcherson, Jeremy Irons, Dan Lee, Minnie Driver, and Felicia Rashad. In The Beekeeper, one man's brutal campaign for vengeance takes on national stakes after he is revealed to be a former operative of a powerful and clandestine organization known as Beekeepers. From the director of Fury and End of Watch, The Beekeeper in Landmark Cinemas beginning today. I feel like Saturday's going to be a movie doubleheader for me. For sure, The Beekeeper and maybe Mean Girls. And you're like, what? Well, I saw all the other Mean Girl movies, so I figure I might as well see this one. I'm going to be looking for something to do Saturday anyways. Going to a movie is a wonderful option. Mind you, there is football tomorrow, too. I don't know, so many options. Sports updates also brought to you by Common Crown Brewing Company, turning your everyday common beer into a unique and exceptional experience. Visit commoncrown.ca. One last check of the text line, 902-518-3033. You've got 4 minutes to reach us live here in the Florida studio. Herb, watching in Millville, writes in, he says, I apologize. I am either naive or my brain is frozen here in Sasky, where it's minus 37 Celsius, I saw today. Why does the CFL hold their meetings in the USA in Nashville? Is the NFL controlling the CFL? If so, that's BS. We have to look after ourselves. This is the thing. I would love to give more CFL coverage. I really would, but they do a lot of inane things. And I see a lot of criticism of them going to Nashville for their meetings. Has anybody publicly explained why they're there? Why they're not spending money in Canada? If I say what I think, I'm a hater. So I'm just reading the comments. Gary is in Penticton, BC. He writes in, he says, there's nothing wrong with a CFL game. I wish they would leave the rules alone. The game is not broken. Focus instead on creating new lines of revenue so the CFL can market itself better. That's with Gary, Gary with 2 R's in Penticton, BC. David in Winnipeg writes in and says, I have strong feelings Drew Brown may end up in Calgary. That's the pending free agent backup quarterback in Winnipeg. David says, where would Chris Streveler fit if he did come back? As much as I appreciate his personality, his talents are suited to short yardage, limited packages, not starter material, even in the CFL. Well, he did win games under the guidance of Paul LaPolice while with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. So I think Streveler would be a coveted player in the CFL if he came up here. From Jeff, the Stamps fan, he says, LOL, the CFL meetings have been in Vegas before. Who cares? This guy cares. But that's cool. Jeff, the Stamps fan, defends any and everything the CFL does. They need people like that. BW in Edmonton says, stay cool down there in Florida, RP. Stay warm, RP squad. See you Monday. I don't know why John Ohm's saying it, but he is. Just when you think that the RP show can't get any better, boom, it does. Keeping it real. I don't know what elicited him saying that, but I'll take it. Yeah, we're pretty much out of time. From Buffalo Bill, great RP show. Enjoy the weekend. See you Monday, everybody. Stay safe, stay warm.
Who has more fun than us?